Loved ones turning out tonight to remember a man whose charred remains were found near Kelly Drive last month. And Eddie, you spoke with his family.
Yeah, today would have been Nasir's 21st birthday. They made an emotional cry for justice as they mourn the loss of their loved one. 20-year-old Nasir Johnson was missing for several days before police say his body was discovered burning in a park off Kelly Drive.
I just want justice, that's all I want. Because they didn't deserve what they did to him.
Yeah, man, that's really jacked up, man. The Philadelphia, man, it's starting to like, these laws that they've passed, where, you can't pull brothers over for traffic violations. They get out the next day if they carjack you or home invade you or anything, even shoot you. Philly dudes is taking it to another level, man. We seeing a lot of bodies burning, a lot of whole families being like hacked up. We just seeing it's a lot of stuff out of Philly that I don't report on because I gotta report the whole country. It's going down in Philly, man.
All I want, because they didn't deserve what they did to him.
As they came together to celebrate what would have been his 21st birthday, they're hopeful police will find the person responsible for committing such a heinous act.
He started at community college doing business administration, but his ultimate goal was to become a psychologist to help people.
He wanted to be a psychologist. It's only one thing that can explain this, man. What's going on is we're reverting back to our roots, man, our motherland roots, man. We just going back to what was going on in the motherland, man. Now we got guns, too. But I hate to see these brothers like this, man, with their whole life ahead of them, dreams and stuff like. If this is true, what they're saying about this brother, there should be outrage. Sisters, this is the one you get behind. Not the crackhead or the junkie, the career criminal, fighting with cops after a sister called the cops on him. This is the one you get behind, sisters. This guy. Okay? And listen, I get it. Y'all been conditioned for this Democratic Party and these policies and this caping for criminals. But this one's obvious. I mean, if what they're saying is true, this the one you get behind. This the one you protest for. Like, hit one if you feel me in the comment section. Because I'm feeling like I'm crazy. Like, this the one you protest for. Not the other ones. Like, they... Well, that's state-sanctioned violence, man. We pop tax dollars. No, it's not your tax dollars. It's not your tax dollars. It's Glacier Gliders tax dollars. Every democratically run city, the tax base is the Glacier Glider side of town. They get virtually nothing from the Sun community. Nothing. City. Look into it. These cities get virtually nothing from the Sun communities. Okay? When it comes to taxes and what funds all these programs and fixes the potholes and fixes the sewer lines and pays for the cops and all that stuff and the ambulances. Almost all of that money comes from the Glacier Glider side of town. They lose money from the Sun community because so many resources have to go into it just to make it to where it's like livable. So you can't say, well, we mad at the police when they kill one of our Sun Kings because we pay for their salary. Nah, the Sun side of town doesn't pay. You soak up so many resources from WIC, TANF, welfare Section 8, food banks, food shelters, and halfway houses, the police presence that's required in your neighborhood, meetings over crime and violence, initiatives to try to stop violence and all this stuff. That stuff soaks up the lion's share of the tax base, of which you don't give anything out to, because everybody on that side of town, on the sunny side of town, gets a $5,000 return. They getting money at tax time. On the glider side of town, they owe. They owe at tax time. They don't get nothing back. But and of course that's the middle class, the upper class gliders. I'm not talking about the trashy ones. But yeah, that's who pays for these cops. So you don't even pay for the cops. So you shouldn't be mad when they gun down one of your Sun Kings, sister.
20-year-old Nasir Johnson was missing for several days before police say his body was discovered burning in a park off Kelly Drive.
I just want justice. That's all I want. Because he didn't deserve what they did to him.
As they came together to celebrate what would have been his 21st birthday, they're hopeful police will find the person responsible for committing such a heinous act.
He started at community college doing business administration, but his ultimate goal was to become a psychologist to help people, because that was just his nature, to help people.
If you know anything, police want to hear from you. You should reach out to homicide detectives, or you can leave an anonymous tip. We have that information on fox29.com. Dawn, back to you.
All right, Eddie, thank you.
A number of shootings over the last year are still not solved, and the mother of one victim is urging everyone to speak up. Adam Arambaidi and his friend Billy Peters died last February, a year ago, after being shot while leaving the Acropolis Steakhouse and Strip Club. Police have said they believe there are people who know what happened who have not come forward. I talked with Adam's mom today. She's issuing a plea not just for her son, but for all the sons and daughters who've been killed. If you know something, she says, you need to tell Crime Stoppers where you can be anonymous.
I feel like it's a public responsibility at this point. The police can only do so much. Without the public's help, we will never get these crimes solved. We have to be able to figure out who they are, because they're not just a couple people. They are a small group of people who are going out and doing these shootings and getting away with it in broad daylight now.
Who do you think she thinks killed her son by what she said? Using the context clues. Because I'm sure she's heard from friends and people, who were there but won't come forward. But, because she knows that people know. That means that people have told her, what happened, but they won't come forward out of fear or whatever. Who do you think she thinks killed her son and his friend?
I feel like it's a public responsibility at this point. The police can only do so much. Without the public's help, we will never get these crimes solved. We have to be able to figure out who they are, because they're not just a couple people. They are a small group of people who are going out and doing these shootings and getting away with it in broad daylight now.
Experts say that people are hesitant to come forward because of fear of retaliation or apathy. But you can submit a tip anonymously to Crime Stoppers by calling their phone number. It's there on your screen, 503-823-4357, or just Google Crime Stoppers Portland, and it will take you to an online site where you can offer your tip. You could get up to $2,500 if there's a conviction in the case, and you can stay anonymous.
Keoki Hilo Demich is here at the Martin County Jail, and investigators say he was Cynthia Cole's handyman for the last few years, and he's most likely the person who killed her and put her body in a septic tank. Cole's neighbors say they cannot believe this happened.
She was murdered and put in a septic tank. Like, who does that to somebody? It's just not fair.
Investigators say this man, 34-year-old Keoki Demich, was the only person detectives were suspicious of when investigating 57-year-old Cynthia Cole's disappearance.
Keoki Demich. That means brother Jack. Yes, it is. That means brother. What's up with these? What's up with you brothers in poop lately, man? God, dog. It's like you got the brother in New York, a broker, smearing. And if I hear one more person say he threw poop on that woman, he didn't throw it on her. He wiped her down with it. And then you got this brother putting the woman in the septic tank, man. It's not working. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me just say this. And no offense to the many Sun people who are thriving in America and not, complaining about America at the same time. But it's not enough of us. As a whole, the spirit, it's not working. A prudent group, which glacier gliders aren't, thank God they're not prudent anymore. Thank God this is not their ancestors. Thank God this new version of gliders, they lost their fastball, man. You would just scrap this whole, a prudent group would just scrap this whole experiment and be like, look, man, this ain't working. This ain't working, man. We started getting feces, and people are every day they finding somebody burning body. This isn't working. Yeah, we admit we did use y'all to pick cotton. We should have picked our own cotton. I get that, but it's not working. So, y'all gotta go. Thank God they're not doing that.
Like, who does that to somebody? It's just not fair.
Investigators say this man, 34-year-old Keoki Demich, was the only person detectives were suspicious of when investigating 57-year-old Cynthia Cole's disappearance. Cole, who went by Cindy, was last seen February 24th at the Jammin' Jensen event. Her friend and neighbor, Barbara Deal, was with her that night.
She had a fun night. She just was ready to go home and said goodbye, and we, never knew that we'd never see her again.
Detectives say Demich was working on renovations at Cole's house, and when they questioned him, his answers did not add up.
You the handyman. Now this stuff, I watch a lot of forensic files. Stuff like this happened back in the 80s. There weren't cameras all over the place. Somebody working on a project in some area would just go whack out one of the women there and disappear, and they maybe catch them 20 years later, 30 years later. But with the advent of DNA and all that stuff. But 2022, you working on somebody's house and you just gonna whack them and just think you gonna get away with it?
Detectives say Demich was working on renovations at Cole's house, and when they questioned him, his answers did not add up. Sheriff William Snyder says ring cameras and security footage showed Demich exiting Cole's car near his home along Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard in Stewart the same night when Cole was last seen. After his arrest, deputies went back to Cole's home on Skyline Drive in Jensen Beach on Friday and noticed the top of the septic tank in the backyard looked out of place. That's when they opened it and found Cole dead inside. They spent the whole night digging and pulled Cole out in the morning.
I've been doing this 40 plus years. I've never seen anything like it.
We're starting to hear that more and more, man, from these cops, man, these spokespersons for the police department. We're starting to hear that a lot more and more. You just know how often you start hearing that. Because you would, I'm 8,000 videos in, you'd hear that every once in a while. But this new wave since the summer of Floyd and the Black Spring, that you're starting to hear that a lot more now. It's like, whoa, I've never seen nothing like this before. And you know, that's telling.
I've been doing this 40 plus years. I've never seen anything like it.
Neighbors are now left in shock.
Cindy was a beautiful person. It breaks my heart, and I literally out my kitchen window. That's what I see is her house. So every day I drive by, that's what I'm going to see.
She had a lot of friends. Everyone loved Cindy. She was kind to everyone, all walks of life. So,
did you hear that? Did you hear that? Cindy might have been the wokester, man. She got her wake-up call. A woke wake-up call.
she had a lot of friends. Everyone loved Cindy. She was kind to everyone, all walks of life. So she was a special person. She didn't deserve it. Nobody deserved it. I'm gonna miss her. I miss her already.
How much you want to bet that this guy was not vetted through Angie's List or Home Advisor or anything like that? Where they gonna send you somebody who's been, background checked and that I suggest you guys do that. I did Home Advisor the other day, and they sent me a guy, Hispanic brother from young brother, but he did his job. Nice brother and everything. I mean, very professional. And they handle everything. They send you the person. They vet them. They only send you a person with 4 stars or more online. Only a person that's been background checked. And everything, the time he's there and everything's allotted for, So I think what she did in this case, she probably wanted to help a brother out. He needed to make a couple bucks, so she probably was like, well, I got some jobs for you to do around the house. Got a wake-up call, man.
She was kind to everyone, all walks of life. So she was a special person. She didn't deserve it. Nobody deserved it. I'm gonna miss her. I miss her already.
The sheriff says investigators are still collecting more evidence and Demich could face more charges. Reporting in Martin County, Steve King, WPBF 25 News.